Well, hello, everybody. And hello, Carrie.
There.
So what I wanted to do is just create a little bit of an introduction of what you do, because you helped me a lot. And I know my journey's not over, but I really wanted to showcase it for my clients and hopefully other people that are going to get some benefit from it. So Carrie with ABC Coaching, tell me a little bit about yourself, professional background, and then what you do to help people maybe like me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this. I'm Carrie. I'm a coach. I've been coaching now for about 5 years full time. And before that, I was a therapist for 11 years and really worked with people on managing trauma and trying to get through trauma. And from there, I found out that burnout is a really hard thing for people to go through because I went through it myself. And I really turned my attention to how do I support people to reevaluate where they're at in life and move into their best self. And what that really looks like is let's get out of living according to expectations, living according to other people's standards, and getting into our own values and let those drive the goals and let those drive the action. That's what I
So,
do.
so what do you see the changes in people? And then I'll give a little bit of my story. But what do you see? I know my story, but I don't necessarily know all your other cases. What do you see?
Well, a lot of people come to me when they're at a low point where they're feeling like I'm too stressed out. I don't know what direction to go in. And what I see is that they start to discover that they've always known the direction to go in, but they've had trouble making the decision and they haven't been able to access those deeper core values that help fuel the decision. So really being able to access what's meaningful, what's important to them, and then making decisions that improve their life overall.
So yeah, well, in my experience, and if anybody's watching this that doesn't know who I am, I'm Dr. Glenn Harrison with the Center of Functional Medicine. I practice natural medicine, and I have my own routine that I preach, and everybody's routine can be a little bit different. But, being a business owner and dealing with a lot of chronic disease, chronic illness, it beats me up. And I know it beats up my colleagues that do the same thing because there's so much emotional burden to it. And it's exhausting along with everything else in life. And everybody has their own challenges. It's just me. And when I started working with you, Carrie, I was entertaining the idea of working on some stress management. I was like, oh, well, it'll help, right? I'm all trying to be proactive with everything else in my life, and it'll help me, and I'm looking forward to it. And I really was not aware when we did the values piece, I was not aware of the direction I was working in my life that maybe, and I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it right now, really, that I was working in a direction that wasn't really what I wanted. And I didn't even know that. I was just doing what I was doing, keeping the business afloat, keeping everybody working and working on their health and trying to maintain mine. And I didn't realize that I was moving in a direction that didn't fulfill me. And I didn't realize that that was a source of stress. And then all the mechanisms and the tools that you gave me, and we just really scratched the surface. But now I have tools that they come on an autopilot. It's like they're locked in my subconscious. So when I get into it, my breathing suddenly changes for the better. I start to focus on what I'm doing that's constructive versus not for the better. And ultimately these burdens, these stressful episodes are much easier, and I come through it much better, more productive, and whatever. And ultimately I have a direction that I know I'm much more self-aware. So hopefully, I don't know if I rambled with that one, but I was just kind of giving snapshots of part of my experience and my outcome. So I guess maybe a big thing to know, or in my viewpoint, that it's not only about when we're going through it, when we're in a tough time and we're broken, but also when maybe there's episodes when we're overwhelmed. Everybody, there's episodes where they're overwhelmed, but and once they start unlocking that and figuring it out, they'll be surprised at identifying where they're going in life and is it the right path for them, which is so remarkable. I can't believe that. And I like to think I'm very self-aware. but I wasn't as self-aware than after I worked with you. So that was my experience. And then I think another thing we talked about, some of the clients that I work with are, the personalities and the challenges they get on top of that mountain, and they feel so much better because I'm working with the physiology side of it, the physical health side of it, but then they don't know and they get anxious. They get anxious when we're done. You mentioned that a little bit. We talked about before of that can be a stressful piece once people's health is improved.
Right.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that briefly, if you can.
I mean, I think any major transition, particularly when you've made some great success with working with you, that it can be hard to figure out, am I going to be able to maintain this? Am I going to be able to keep this going without the accountability, without the, consistency of meeting with you and having that outside force to say, hey, you're going to feel better when you do these things. And it can be just overwhelming to say, okay, well, I've curtailed my life because of my illness, and now I'm supposed to get back to living, but what does that even look like? Like, I haven't been doing activities that I used to love to do. I don't even know what I enjoy anymore, because they've had so many lives. So much of their life has been stuck with illness.
And now it's a whole big, new, scary world, and it should be good and exciting, but there's some fear. I see it with when kids go off to school and mom's at home and suddenly is out of her career. There's this uncertainty, this unease. I bet you have clients like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it's about identity. Like I tie my identity to what I do, and, even, or to an illness. Like I tie my identity to I am sick. We don't, in our language, it's really hard to separate identity from what we're doing. So like, I am a coach. It's not, I am a person who coaches. It's, I tie identity to actions, and being able to actually separate those can be a really powerful process, because again, you'll get in touch with your values. You'll be able to identify who you are as a person and recognize what you value doing.
And like myself, when I thought I was following my values, maybe some I was accurate on, but a lot I wasn't. My whole life was going in a direction that maybe was less meaningful to me. It was definitely less fulfilling. And therefore, if it was less fulfilling, it was less motivating. And if you're doing something that's not motivating or something that is of value, I know you talked about exhaustion and burnout, maybe a major source of stress.
Right.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
And then it snowballs, and then your life ends up going in a path that you don't want it to be. And then there's less satisfaction in life. Like even in my world, it hasn't been that long since, it's been a few weeks since we wrapped up temporarily. I know I'm going to be working on some and then going back into it. What I learned is not only more self-awareness, but start setting my life up in the direction I want. And it gave me a whole new outlook on everything in a positive way, in a very exciting way. And I don't know, I thank you a lot for that. So that's why I wanted to do this, really, is so as people I work with, that they can see it, because it's helpful for anybody. So maybe I should let people know exactly, or you can let them know on what you're offering and how you work with people, because there's a few different categories. So I know you broke it down for us, and I'll share it right now. And then you can explain it a little bit. Be able to see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a few different packages. So just walk us through, and then I'll move things accordingly.
Yeah, so everyone comes to me, they get an initial 30-minute consultation. So we'll talk first for free about what it is that they're looking to do, and if coaching is actually the best fit for them. So this is a really good exploration moment where we just really engage and figure out what the goals are and start diving a little bit deeper. Then we move into whichever package makes the most sense. For some, it's going to be the stress to resiliency training, which is the piece that you were talking about, Dr.
That's
Harrison.
what I did. Yeah.
This is going to be really much more about like a training package where we're really focusing in on skill development. We're focusing in on more like an educational kind of piece of understanding, like, what are the different pieces that affect stress? How do you manage those pieces of stress? And you get a workbook that you're encouraged to work on between sessions.
Yeah.
That's part of the work here. And then Also relaxation techniques to practice between sessions. So it's definitely more of like a class type setting.
Mm-hmm.
And and I wanted to note before I talk about prices, these prices are subject to change depending on different offerings that I have and how things go along. But for now, this one would cost $750.
Okay. And then the next one, I know you talked a lot about burnout and
Mhm.
managing burnout. And there's many mechanisms for it, and that this is something else that you have.
Yeah, so breakthrough burnout coaching, this is going much more in depth. We focus a lot on values, diving into more values assessments. How do you generate goals based on those values? Really anything that's contributing to burnout, we try to evaluate if this is the right direction for you to continue going and try to make bigger decisions about where you're headed. There's two sizes to this package too. So a lot of times people will start off with the 14 session package, which is typically done over 6 months. We'll do every other week. Or the 26 sessions is for a year. You're pretty much meeting with me every other week and saying, I want to get out of this cycle that's causing me not to enjoy what I'm doing in life and not to enjoy my life. So the 14 session package is $2,500 and the 26 session package is $7,500.
Mm-hmm. You could go on a vacation to Hawaii and spend way more than that, and you would get back to your world, and your life would be the same with not having awareness or anything. Just the skills that I got from you in that short period of time, I'll have those for life, and it's going to actually change my life. It already has. So sometimes we have to think about that.
Right. And I do have payment plans too.
Okay.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
The next one, wellness inventory. So I do have a wellness inventory certification, and this is an online tool that goes through 12 different dimensions of wellness, and you would go fill in the assessment, and then we would do coaching over, again, either 6 months or 12 months, depending on if you wanted to upgrade to a bigger package. But focusing in on the 14 sessions, that what we would do is focus in on each different area that makes the most sense to focus in on, because it tells me what you're motivated to change as well when you take that assessment. And so we'll talk about those different areas. And it's the same pricing as the last package.
Okay. And then this one, I find is very exciting.
Yes, goal setting and accountability coaching. So this is one of those areas that a lot of people don't even realize they're struggling, but setting goals and making them feasible and manageable. And this package is really about, let's get the goals set, let's use our values to determine goals, and then let's take these sessions and build accountability along the way. So as you're achieving the goals, you have somebody in your corner to help you really follow through on what you say you're going to do. And make it visible, make it real. So this one can be in a 6-session package at $800, an 8-session packet at $950, and typically we meet monthly for this one.
Yeah. Okay. And then all your contact information is here.
Yep.
Your email. I'll wherever I post this video, I'll have all that information as well. Email, contact. What is the best way to contact you? Is it via phone, email? What do you find?
Either. The phone there is my cell phone, so you can always text me if that's easier for you too. And email, I try to get back to people within 24 hours.
Okay, great. Yeah, I like the summary of that, and of course, yeah, these depending on the time of this recording, how long it is, those prices can change a little bit, but at least people have something they could sink their teeth into and then see what it's about. And you said that there's even payment plans and things like that. So quick question for you, because I know if any of my clients are watching this, or my past clients, they understand that it takes more than one appointment or session to achieve things. When people approach you and they say, oh, what do you mean? It's going to take more than one session? How do you relay that information so they kind of have a better understanding?
Well, when somebody comes to me and says, I want to do a coaching session, I say, well, this is not the right fit for you, because coaching is about lifestyle changes. And if you're trying to change a mindset or a lifestyle, you've got to first uncover the old habits. So again, if literally my muscle memory tells me to keep running this direction over and over again, then I've got to learn a new direction. It's going to take time to do that.
Yeah.
So, normally I say start with a 3-month package at least, and build it from there. A good entry for a lot of people, I say, is, let's have a consultation session. And if they're still hesitant to do the bigger packages, I say, let's start with the stress to resiliency training and see what we can uncover there. And maybe there's a bigger package that makes more sense as we uncover things.
And just like what I was feeling, I wasn't feeling, for everybody listening to this, I wasn't feeling overwhelmingly stressed. And I know I shared with you, this isn't the past, right? Years ago, a few years back, where I was like at a breaking point, and I managed to, my life changed or whatever. I managed to, optimize my life a little bit more and a little bit more, but I still had those old patterns and those old tendencies, and it takes a while to retrain your mind and your behaviors and your habits and your tendencies to kind of, identify these new neural pathways or these new patterns to adopt. So I think that goes with anything in life. It takes more than one piece. You don't go to school for one day if you want to learn something. And,
right.
But then when you learn these things, you're learning. For me, it was learning and then practicing, learning, academically or, more, and then practicing. And then it turns into a practical application, and you have it for life, unlike most school where you study and you forget 80% of it and you never use it again. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, that's great, Carrie. Thank you for the few minutes that you put this together, and I can send it off and share it with the people that I'm working with. And your contact information, what is a good number to reach you?
303-596-8605.
Okay. And I know you're changing your website. Is your domain going to change at all?
No, it'll still be abccoachingllc.com.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, thank you very much, Carrie. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everything you did for me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.